Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Christine, and I'm going to try and do this today. I tried yesterday, got interrupted. Monday was a wash, and today's Cameron's birthday, so we're going to try and get this done while everybody's out of the house. So I'm doing my weekly wrap-up, if my husband will stop texting me. Alrighty, so I read 5 books, and the first book I finished was Middle School. My Brother is a Big Fat Liar by James Patterson and Lisa Papadimitriou, and it's book 3 in the middle school series. Never fails. Yeah, and I got a new phone. Yay! Anyways, so this is from the point of view of Rafe's sister, and she's having to deal with going to a new school that her brother has left, and her brother is a pain in the ass sort of thing, and he wreaked havoc through the school, so everybody thinks that his sister's going to be the same way. It's pretty much what it was. I think I gave it a 3 or 4. Then I finished Joanna Lindsay, Love Me Forever. This is book 2 in the Sharing Cross series. I'm going to hurt him. Seriously. Because if I don't answer, he gets all upset. Okay. So book 2 in the Sharing Cross series. And it... husbands and kids today are just... Anyways. So you meet Lachlan in the first book, and it's about Kimberly, whose father wants to remarry, and his fiance does not want to live in the same house as another female, so he wants her to get married. And she did have a fiance, but he left her because he was not willing to wait for her to get out of mourning from her mother's death. So she goes to Charing Cross to visit the people from the first book. And yeah, the only thing I had a problem with was Lachlan was obsessed with Megan from the first book, and he kept trying to get her to leave her husband, and I didn't like that too much. But he was in lust with her, and he was just, it was one of those things. But you find out why he was a thief from the first book in this book, so I gave it a 4 just because I didn't like that one part. And then I read Diane Chamberlain, The Lies We Told. I love this, but I still only gave it a 4 because there is a bit of stuff at the end. And it's about 2 sisters whose parents are killed when they were teenagers. I think she was... Maya was 14 and Rebecca was 18. So Rebecca takes over childcare so that like CPS doesn't get a hold of her sister and put into the system. And later on they both become doctors. Maya is married to a doctor. Rebecca is with an organization that is somewhat like Doctors Without Borders, but instead of doctors going to countries with no health care, these doctors go to disaster zones like Hurricane Katrina or earthquakes, and different countries, like whatever. But so it's not so much places where there's no healthcare, it's places where they need, where a major disaster has happened. So yeah, so Maya doesn't want to come. She keeps having miscarriages. She just has one and decides she wants to make her husband happy. She tries to make everybody happy. So she goes to this disaster zone. I'm not sure if it's like, they live in Raleigh, and I think it's close, like somewhere in that area they have a hurricane. And there's major, damage. And so she ends up having to transport a patient somewhere, and their helicopter crashes. So it's the fallout from that. there's a part where Becca and Maya's husband kind of, are having to deal with this stuff. So that part, it's only like 2 weeks time when the helicopter crashes. And I don't like that part. It's kind of, no. And the ending was just sort of rushed within a page. The epilogue, you don't find out how the epilogue happened. It's just, this is how it is. So I didn't like that either, but I gave it a 4. The writing was just fantastic. And then the next book I read, I actually read it on my phone because it was really quick. It was The Twisted Tale of Stormy Gale by Christine Bell. This was for the challenge for the romance readers. No, it's not. Summer romance book bingo with read a book with a person's name that's the same as yours, either first or last, and obviously it's Christine. So this was just like a quick story, and it's about a woman who's a time pirate. So she goes back in time and steals like artifacts, not anything major like from art museums or stuff, and then she comes back and sells it on eBay, and that's how they pay for their life, and that's how they like do charitable donations to like orphanages and stuff like that. She goes back in time because her brother had lost his time machine, because it's just like a timepiece, and meets up with Lord Looney Dev. I forget his name, but yeah, so it's quick. I liked it. Just wanted more, and there is a sequel to it that's longer, like twice as long as this one, so I'll probably read that one sometime. So we'll give that one back. Oh, and of course, there we go. So I finished that one, and then I picked up Kurt Vonnegut's SlaughterhouseFive, and this was to read a classic. I'm considering this is a classic. I gave it a 2. It is like talking to somebody who's losing their mind. It is time travel. It does take place in 2 different spots. I'm going to hurt him. Sorry, it's about today and family, so. Okay. All right, so it starts off with him talking about an old war buddy, and they were in World War II, and it talks about him wanting to write a book about this battle at Dresden, and I guess it's almost semi-biographical with Kurt Vonnegut, but then it goes into he loses time. In his mind, he's in a different time, and then he goes back, jumps to this time, and then he jumps to that time, and it seriously is just all over the place. I do not know how this gets higher ratings. Wow. I mean, it was an easy read, but it was just all over the place, and he's talking about being kidnapped by aliens, and I guess this set of aliens is in a lot of Kurt Vonnegut's books, so I don't know if I'll read any more of his. But yeah, it was just all over the place. So yeah, 2. So currently reading. I started this yesterday. I'll probably be finished it today. It's Falling for His Proper Mistress by Tessa Radley. Book 2 in the Jared's Dynasty. This is Guy's story, and he had met up with Avery before the book, and this is like 10 weeks after this has happened, and so it's based on a misunderstanding. He thinks she slept with his partner, because his partner has told him that. But from her point of view, you see what really happened. And it's just, yeah, it's just pretty much a misunderstanding. He's the chef that works at the resort, the Jared Resort. It is what it is. And then I'm continuing on with Outlander by Diana Gabaldon, and I'm just got to the second part. Yeah, chapter 11 is where I am now. So I'm catching up quite quickly. I'm liking it. I totally understand where people don't like it with the rape scenes or the attempted rape, but hello, that's the way things were back then. You can't diss a book for having that stuff in it. If that was what was true life back then, you don't have to like it, but that's the way life was. So I'm kind of one of those people that I read books for enjoyment. There are some things that I don't like that other people do, and that's fine. That's, everybody's got their own opinion, and if everybody liked the same stuff, then it would be boring. But I just feel that if you're writing a book about something in history, you can't knock it for telling the truth, is how I'm saying it. And then I'm also reading Blaze by Susan Johnson. And this one I'm having issues with. This is the first historical romance I've ever really had an issue with, because it starts off with him pretty much sleeping with everything that walks. He sleeps with one girl, goes downstairs, grabs her sister-in-law, and goes upstairs and does her too several times. And then 2 days later, he's with somebody else from their friendships, and they all know about each other. It's weird. And he goes to Harvard, and he's a native Indian, and this is 1861. So I'm sorry, but that's just not realistic. And everybody's fawning over him, and it's just, oh my gosh, wow. So then she grows up, and they're going to claim it's like the gold rush. So her and her father are traveling to this claim to get the gold, and that's pretty much as far as I've gotten. But he owns a lot of it, I think, and he doesn't want to give it up to her father. But he's already slept with 4 or 5 women, and it's only chapter 3. So usually you hear about them being with somebody else in their past, but once the book starts, they're never with anybody else. And this one, he's already been with 4 different women. So it's just not really to my taste, I guess. I don't know. I will see how it goes, but I can't see it getting any better than a 3, if that. So I'm going to be finishing off those, and then I will possibly start, probably, Kathy Reich's Deja Dead. And I will be doing a separate TBR for August. I'm late to put time. Yeah, so it's just been the last couple of days I've been trying to get ready for Cameron's birthday, and so he's 13 today. So he's officially a teenager. I now have 2 teenagers. Yesterday I kind of had a meltdown and a breakdown with my daughter, so it's just one of those days. So, but yeah, I'll be doing a TBR of the books that I'm going to be reading for the Triple RC Challenge, as well as the rest of the books that I have to read for the Summer Romance Book Bingo. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 done already. And I actually have a line, but I'm going for a full card. So there's that. Lots of ebooks, I think. So I'm going to have to try and get those ready. But I definitely am looking forward to this one because I've never watched the show. My mom likes the show. I didn't really like how stiff Temperance Brennan was in the show. So I'm hoping she's not as stiff in here. But we'll see how it goes. And I hear my son coming back, so it's time for me to go. Bye-bye.